I had an opportunity, a great opportunity for a job here in Los Angeles. I was finishing a job in Colorado, and I knew I was going to have some time, and I thought, why not take that time, take a little vacation. And initially, it was just going to be a trip to Croatia by myself, and then literally about 10, 12 days before I left, Eric found out about the trip, my cousin. Eric was like, can I come with you? And I'm like, absolutely. He's like, well, what are we going to do? And I'm like, I don't know. I said, I heard from a friend that works in the travel industry that that sailing is kind of big this time of the year in Croatia. Why don't we just charter a boat and hire a skipper? I'm like, I sailed, but I haven't sailed in 20-some years. We kind of knew it was going to be epic when we landed in Dubrovnik, and we rented a car and we drove up to Split and to Trogir, where the marina was, Marina Beatek. We had found a skipper through Yachts and Friends. Dane Keller is a 23-year-old, 6'3" farmer in Vancouver, and he travels all over the world as an awesome charter captain for hire. We hit it off, and you know, as far as maturity goes and as far as an old soul goes, I mean, Dane Keller is the oldest young man you'll ever meet.
He's so new to the world that I remember we pulled into one harbor in Croatia, and I went into the church just right there off the dock because it was beautiful and they were doing choir practice. Sitting down listening to it, he came in and he said, so this was a church. It's like, have you never been in a church? He's like, no, I've never been in a church before. And he said, what do we do? I was like, just sit down and listen to it. He's like, this is beautiful.
Yeah. And then we were sailing the beautiful Adriatic. The boat was keeled over. I mean, we were probably at like 15 degrees keel. Eric had never been on a sailboat. Eric had never been keeled like that. He was in very much
I'm
like,
quiet. So
he was in quiet focus mode.
I watch him.
I'm at the helm.
Him.
I'm at the helm with my GoPro, and I said on the GoPro, what did I say? I said, I'm hooked. I said, this moment changes everything. And that was like kind of the epiphany, the aha moment that I had to get back into sailing.
You felt like you were surfing. As soon as you got on that wheel, as soon as we got that first gust of wind, he's holding on to it with one hand. He's like, fuck yeah, man, this is it. And I'm like, we are cruising.
5 days into the trip, I'm really convincing Eric to stay another week with me. But Kevin, the guy who chartered us the boat, had already set Dane up for the next week with 6 girls from Sweden.
We were going to just pay him directly, Armin. We were just going to give him money directly since it was his boat and kidnap Dane. Yeah. Because we were like, this Yachts and Friends based out of England, they're not finding us.
They're the middlemen. So we called up Kevin, or I called up Kevin, and I said, look, Kevin, I was like, you know, we love Dane. We're having such a good time. We want to extend our trip another week. We want Dane another week. And like we said to him very bluntly, you know, we've got 2 options. You can let Dane stay with us, and we can continue to use Dane as our skipper, or we're just going to take Dane and we're going to take the boat and we're not going to come back. Because literally, like, you can disappear there. Like, it's not like people can find you. You're literally just hopping around islands on a sailboat.
We went back to a lot of the places that we had seen before that we said we have to come back because we were going to get scooters and we were going to own the island. I mean, we scooted all around these islands. We, you know, got to meet the local. I mean, a lot of it was we met so many locals that we wanted to go back to see because we instantly connected. I remember even when we
talk about the scooter for just one
moment? I mean, we went into these scooters and we were just, go ahead.
He did a little off-roading.
Oh, I went up a mountain. I tore up. If I didn't have a helmet on.
I came back to the boat. No shit. I came back to the boat. And ass bag here was covered in like lacerations in his hip. Like he had it was like a volleyball off of his hip. It's giant hematoma. Yeah. I was like, that's not right. I was like, that does not look good.
Even then, I love it because I get to wear my scars. I get to say, look what I did in Croatia, climbing a mountain on a scooter. Tore up my leg.
The best was losing his phone. You know, we're
actually
having fun.
The best was running out of my prescription. You went into Havar to the dentist office. You were like, I'm a doctor. I need you to write prescription for this and this and this.
They hooked it up.
And he comes back to the boat 4 hours later. He's like, I got you a prescription. Here's your medicine from the dentist. I was like, oh my God.
Eric had been a special ops paratrooper, so we proudly flew that flag.
September 11th, I was in Korea on the DMZ and came home, and the last 3 years of my life were, you know, Afghanistan, Kosovo, training National Guard guys. They called me back in to train National Guard guys because I had combat experience to teach them what they were going to experience. after time, it takes a toll on you that you don't realize it takes a toll on until you get out of that environment, and then you wrestle with things. But it wasn't anything one thing, it was just the stress. And I didn't know that you could have a reemergence of PTSD. It could come back, and it could come back worse. And it basically broke me down to the point where I had sought medication and alcohol. I became a slave to it because it was the only thing that made me feel better. Family can tell when you're suffering. Got me help, 6 months of AA meetings every day. And it wasn't until I feel like I got in Croatia that I came to peace with myself. I'd be up at 8 in the morning up top reading my books, sitting up front with the sails, just meditating in the sun, and I just knew I was exactly where I needed to be.
I had a similar experience. It was just a feeling that everything was okay and everything was right.
It was going to be fine.
And any stress or anxiety that I had ever had before, or any stressful thoughts or anxious thoughts I was having, were completely dissolved. The water was the cleanest, clearest water I've ever seen. I mean, we swam every day, we caught fish, we ate fresh fish, it was
free diving with the camera underwater. You should see some of these pictures.
I had developed a new appreciation for sailing. Learning to sail as a child, I thought it was just a bad idea because it's kind of boring and kind of slow. But as a hardworking professional, that experience was very enlightening and very eye-opening to the way that one can live their life. When I came back, I really didn't waste much time as far as finding out more about how does one buy a boat? How does one buy a yacht? How do you do it? How do you buy a sailboat?
I thought you had to be a millionaire. And then when Cameron went through the process of selling his house in Denver, coming out here and living in LA and Marina Del Rey on a boat, for pennies on the dollar, essentially live in LA, I knew that I could do that back in North Carolina, and sold a townhome in a day and bought a boat in cash. And I'm living cheaper, less expensive, and I swear I'm living a better life now, not in a house, living downtown in Marina. 2 showers and 2 beds. It's all I ever need. And you're separated enough from people that, if you need to get away, you can just undock and go out into the ocean.
That's what I love about it.
And it's just you and the ocean and whatever you call your higher power.
It's incredible how, if it wasn't for that trip, if it wasn't for those experiences, if it wasn't for doing a Google search in the middle of the Adriatic Sea.
Yes.
A Google search. We rented a satellite in a damn briefcase. And
we have a briefcase with a satellite in it.
I Google Los Angeles liveaboard, and the 4th article that comes up is an article written by Steve Curran about 7 years ago. And it goes on in his life and raising his family on a boat, and him and his wife BJ. And if you ever have any questions about boating or living on your boat, just call me. It doesn't say he's a boat broker. It doesn't say anything. He has all this experience, that he was a commodore of this yacht club, yada, yada, yada. So what did I do? Naturally, I called him. And it changed my life.
Naturally.
I'm here.
Naturally.
I met my girlfriend through mutual friends of Steve Curran. Steve is like, I don't have a close relationship with my biological father. Steve is like a father to me. And here we are, and our lives are so much more fulfilled and rich and bright because of those experiences and because of keeping an open mind and open heart. It's really cool. Cheers, brother.
Yeah.
To the Croatian Connection.